What's up, Patriots fans? Come closer because today's topic is one of those that moves things behind the scenes. Three quarterbacks that the New England Patriots are closely monitoring in NFL free agency. Even before the official opening of the market, there is already anticipation about how this class could influence the team's planning. The scenario is very different from what we saw at this same time last year. After a major overhaul in the first year under Mike Vrabel's command, the New England Patriots turned things around and reached Super Bowl 60. The rebuild accelerated, the team responded on the field, and now the moment is about fine-tuning, not drastic changes. Heading into the 2026 free agency, the list of needs is much smaller. With more than $40 million available in salary cap space, Vrabel and the front office have flexibility to reinforce specific areas of the roster without compromising the future. And that completely changes the approach. After Drake May's MVP-level season, the quarterback position stopped being the top priority. The big question in 2025 was whether he was truly the franchise quarterback. The answer came on the field, clearly and unquestionably. May took control of the offense and started all 21 games of the season. Behind him, the team had Joshua Dobbs, signed to a 2-year deal in the last offseason. Dobbs played only 43 snaps as a backup. Meanwhile, Tommy DeVito arrived after the final cuts in August and spent the year as the third quarterback. Now, the planning indicates that the roster could be maintained. With Dobbs under contract and DeVito, who has already shown interest in staying, entering as a restricted free agent. But there is an important detail. Releasing Dobbs would open up more than $3.5 million in salary cap space on a team that strategically considers every cent that matters. If the Patriots choose to promote DeVito to primary backup, it will be necessary to add another quarterback to complete the roster, especially with training camp in mind. That could happen late in the draft, but it could also come from the market, even if the available class is not the most exciting. And that's where the first name on the list comes in, Sam Howell, a former UNC Tar Heels player. Howell is one of Drake May's best friends off the field. That connection could strengthen the locker room environment. But it also brings discussions about competitiveness and hierarchy. On the field, Howell started only 18 games in his first 4 seasons in the league. In 2024, he was a backup with the Seahawks, and in the last offseason, he was traded twice, passing through Minnesota before arriving in Philadelphia, where he was among the 3 active quarterbacks in every Eagles game. This is the initial outlook. The position is clearly defined with May as the absolute leader. But the decisions about the backup spot can say a lot about the Patriots' strategy to maintain a competitive level next season. If Sam Howell arrives in Foxborough, the immediate impact would be on the internal dynamic of the quarterback group. He would add youth with real game experience, raising the level of practices and increasing daily competitiveness in the quarterback room. In addition, Howell would bring mobility and the ability to extend plays, something that could be explored in specific packages or in emergency situations. Even if he is not coming in to compete for the starting job, he could offer an alternative with different characteristics from the current options, giving more versatility to the offensive plan. In the short term, the biggest effect would be stability. A player who has already faced starting defenses in the league, who understands the rhythm of the NFL, and who can step on the field without the system needing to be completely adjusted. That strengthens roster depth and protects the team throughout a long and demanding season. Continuing our analysis, now it's time to talk about Jeff Driskel, another name that emerges as a possibility on the market. Here we are talking about pure experience. Driskel has been with 6 teams over the last 7 seasons, accumulating experience in different offensive systems and competitive environments. In total, he has played 25 games, 12 of them as a starter. There is also an interesting detail. In 2023, he had a stint in Cleveland, where he worked directly with Ashton Grant, the current Patriots quarterbacks coach. That connection could ease a potential adaptation, shortening the time needed to understand the terminology and the concepts of the offense. At 32 years old, Driskel represents exactly the profile of security for the roster. If Joshua Dobbs is released, he could fill that spot as a reliable backup, someone capable of managing games in specific situations, keeping the game plan organized and offering stability behind the scenes. It would not be a headline-grabbing signing, but rather one meant to bring solidity and experience to the group. Following that line, Jeff's style of play fits in an interesting way with what the Patriots usually demand from their backup quarterback. He is an athletic player, with good ability to move outside the pocket, something that allows the playbook to remain open even in case of a change during the game. In addition, Driskel has arm strength to attack the intermediate and deep areas of the field, which helps keep the defense honest and prevents the offense from becoming predictable. In a system that values quick reads, disciplined execution, and ball protection, he can function well operating progression-based passing concepts and plays with simplified reads. Another important point is the possibility of incorporating specific mobility packages, exploring read option concepts or bootlegs without drastically changing the offensive identity. That gives flexibility to the offensive coordinator and keeps the attack functional within the philosophy built to compete at a high level. Now, the name on the table is Trey Lance. Here, the scenario changes a bit because we are talking about potential Pichu. If the front office is looking for a backup with a higher ceiling and room for development, Lance emerges as an intriguing option on the market. After spending the last 2 seasons as a backup to Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert, he becomes available with very little mileage in the league. A former 3rd overall pick in the draft, Lance has started only 6 games in his career and has thrown just over 200 passes. In other words, he is still a relatively unexplored player in terms of real on-field sample size. What stands out is his athletic profile. Lance offers mobility, physical strength, and versatility. His ability to contribute in different roles, including participating in specific packages and helping simulate mobile quarterbacks in practice, can make him a valuable piece both in weekly preparation and in the internal development of the roster. In a structured and competitive environment like New England's, he would have the opportunity to refine fundamentals, gain consistency in his reads, and at the same time add a dynamic element to the quarterback group. It would not be just roster depth, but a strategic investment in raw talent that can still be shaped. Following that line, the coaching staff could maximize Trey's qualities by adjusting the game plan to emphasize quick decisions and constant pocket movement, working with half-field concepts, 1 or 2 progression reads, and routes designed off play action would help speed up processing and increase confidence. Another way to use him would be through formations with pre-snap motion, creating conflicts for the defense and making identifications easier before the ball is thrown. The strategic use of RPOs and designed runs to take advantage of his physical explosiveness can also generate situational advantages, especially in the red zone and on short 3rd downs. In addition, the coaching staff can invest heavily in technical development, mechanical adjustments, footwork consistency, and timing with receivers, transforming his athletic tools into efficient production within the offensive structure. In that way, the Patriots would not just have a backup, but an ongoing development project within the system. Looking at it more broadly, these moves show a Patriots team that thinks ahead and acts with planning, not immediate necessity. The most important position in the sport is stabilized, and that allows the front office to operate with strategy instead of urgency. Pursuing different profiles for the backup role indicates a clear concern with depth, sustainability, and adaptability throughout a long season. Whether opting for experience, versatility, or developmental potential, the goal is to build a group that maintains a competitive level regardless of the circumstances. These possible additions also reveal an understanding that success does not depend only on the starter, but on the structure around him. A strong environment in the quarterback room, healthy competition in practice, and reliable options on the bench strengthen the team as a whole. At the end of the day, this signals organizational maturity. The Patriots are not just reacting to the present, but protecting the future and ensuring the position is prepared for any scenario the upcoming season may present. And now, I want to hear from you. Which of these names makes the most sense to reinforce the Patriots quarterback room, and why? Leave your opinions in the comments. See you next time, Patriots Nation.